Morning, ladies and gentlemen. A new world record. We're starting our 10 o'clock docket at 10:30. It's the earliest time ever. I apologize for the delays, but they were necessary. Today we have a series of motion to revoke probation as well as Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court pleas. I'm Judge Wayne Christian. This is County Court at Law number 6 and the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. Plea and probation revocation docket for the 15th of July, year of our Lord 2021, and it's approximately 10:30 a.m. in the morning. The first case we have on our docket is State of Texas versus Hugo Almaguer Sanchez. Mr. Rivera, are y'all ready to proceed?
Yes, we are. Good morning, Judge.
And this is clause 626645. And this is,
Yes, I can, ma'am. Yes, I will let my office put them in one of our iPads because I think that device that he's using may not be, it's an Android, I believe. Judge, I'm going to have to excuse myself for a minute or two and
Sure.
go to the lobby. He's here with us, okay? So I'll be back shortly, Your Honor.
That'll be fine.
Sorry about that.
Okay, let me go ahead and go through the rest of this. Our batting order is going to be, we're going to take on Mr. Sanchez initially because he's a Spanish speaker, and we have to cut our interpreter loose. Then we're going to knock out our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court pleas. Then we're going to come back, and then we have the rest of the day to take as much time as necessary on each motion to revoke probation. So what I've got set today is clause 626645, State of Texas versus Hugo Almaguer Sanchez, which is a motion to revoke probation. I have clause 640084, State of Texas versus Sophia Calderon. And I forgot Mr. Sanchez represented by Mr. Floyd Rivera. I've got Ms. Calderon represented by Mr. Joe Stenberg. Clause 563949, State of Texas versus Barbara Taylor, represented by Mr. Barry Hitching. Clause 519836, State of Texas versus Juan Martinez, represented by Mr. Jose Rocha. And clause 639347, State of Texas versus Paulino Cisneros, represented by Mr. Eric DeWall. Our Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion, plea and probation agreements, clause 633834 and 633835, State of Texas versus Isaac Aguilar, represented by Judge Joanne De Hoyos, clause 652101 and 652102, State of Texas versus Cody Eastridge, represented by Ms. Ashley Morgan. Or is Terry Carter with us today?
Your Honor, she has not signed in yet. She's trying to get a hold of her client.
Okay.
That he was with her, but he was not.
And we'll see if they're able to make it. And we have clause 661329, State of Texas for John Harry Guerrero, represented by Ms. Rebecca Brett. And clause 658486, State of Texas versus Adam Seitzes, represented by Mr. Roberto Ambrosino. And we have one Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Track 2, plea and probation agreement, clause 650994, State of Texas versus Howard Hosfeld Clayton, Clayton Howard Hosfeld, represented by Mr. William Salazar. So at this time, is Mr. Rivera back with us? What are we got it under control, Mr. Floyd?
Yes, sir. It's under control, Judge.
Okay, and our interpreter, are we able to converse with the defendant as well as the rest of us? Is everything working correctly? Hello. Floyd, you got any ideas? Is he in your office with you right now?
Yes, sir. He's here in my office.
Is it not possible you just come in your office and both of you can be on the same camera? And
Yes, sir, I do that.
That will not work, Pat. Wait, will not be the bad. Okay.
All right, Judge.
Floyd, I'm being told that this is not going to work, that they need different devices so the interpreter can talk directly to the defendant. Is that correct, Ms. Nero?
Okay, Judge, he will be with my paralegal at our office, and he should be on shortly.
All right, let's see if we can get it to work. I neglected to mention that representing the state will be Assistant Criminal District Attorney Guillermo Flores, and representing the Bexar County CSCD will be Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. Floyd, or I'm sorry, Ms. Nero, is it working now or not? Okay, we'll wait a second, see what we can do.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hello, can you hear him?
Yes, we can.
Okay, he's ready.
Okay.
It's working, glory be. All right, back on the record. We're under cause 626645. State of Texas versus Hugo Almagor Sanchez, represented by Mr. Floyd Rivera. This is a second amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. The first document I need both Mr. Almagor Sanchez and Mr. Rivera to identify their signatures on is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. And the copy I have is in English. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Almagor Sanchez?
Esa es tu firma en ese documento.
Sí. Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Rivera, as attorney for Mr. Almagor Sanchez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. I have one copy in English, one copy in Spanish. It is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. I noticed that my English copy is administratively correct and has a check mark under that particular paragraph. However, my Spanish copy does not, and it should be marked third from the bottom. No problem, not at all. Let me start over. The second document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal. And I have one copy in English and one copy in Spanish. The English copy is correctly marked as an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. The Spanish copy does not have a mark, but it needs to be marked, which is the third paragraph from the bottom on the different options. And I asked Pat to administratively make sure that's marked before it gets processed. But my question for Mr. Almagor Sanchez and Mr. Rivera are, Mr. Almagor Sanchez, is this your signature on both of these documents?
Esta es tu firma en estos documentos.
Sí. Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Rivera, is this also your signature as attorney for Mr. Almagor Sanchez on both these documents, one in English and one in Spanish?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay. And once again, representing the state, Mr. Guillermo Flores, representing the Bexar County CSDD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is previously sworn. My understanding is this is going to be an uncontested motion to revoke, or excuse me, motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Is that correct, Mr. Rivera?
Judge, that is correct, with the understanding that it would be a plea of true to condition number 5. And we do have an offer, and we will ask the court to approve that.
Okay, and the defense is well aware that even if it has an agreement with the state, that I'm not bound to follow that agreement. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And we normally accept pleas of either true or not true with an explanation, but give you some flexibility on how you want to approach your answer to whatever the allegation is. Fair enough?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. Almagor Sanchez on the second amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. How do you plead, sir?
True.
Okay, and is there, thank you. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Almagor Sanchez probation?
Yes, Your Honor. During the course of probation,
Time out, guys. I apologize. I'm hearing the Spanish from the interpreter on my Zoom. Is that correct?
okay,
Let me start over. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Almagor Sanchez probation?
yes, Your Honor. During the course of probation, his reporting has been fair. We last saw him on July 13th of 2021. And during the course of probation, he's missed a total of 4 appointments. His case is paid in full. He has completed all 48 hours of community service, as well as the DWI education, victim impact panel, and CAT-SNP program. He's had 12 negative drug tests, and he has had 3 positive alcohol readings on the Yes, ma'am.
Hang on, let me ask this. Can Mr. Almagor Sanchez turn his microphone off unless we're specifically talking to him? I think our feedback's coming from the jail, if I were guessing.
He's not in jail, Your
Oh,
Honor. He is
I don't know
on-
where the feedback's coming from. Good point. Anybody that we're not specifically talking to, please turn your microphone off, and everybody I see is doing that, so I don't know where it's coming from. Go ahead.
Pat, can you mute him?
I don't know that I can mute him, and it would not affect the interpreter.
I think
All right.
they're maybe in rooms that are too close together and they're getting feedback.
Ms. Nero, let's try to proceed, but at any point, if you cannot understand either in English or Spanish what proceeding we're doing, just stop us and we'll start over, okay? Yes, ma'am. Okay, Ms. Gross, would you please advise, and I apologize, we're going over this again, both the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Almagor Sanchez probation. And let me stop there for a second, because now I'm confused. On my documents, I have the name of the defendant as Hugo Almagor Sanchez. On the actual second amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, the defendant's name is stated as Almagor Hugo Sanchez. What is the defendant's name?
We have Almaguer Hugo Sanchez, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Rivera, what is I've been calling him Mr. Almagor Sanchez. What is his actual last name?
Judge, from what I know, it's Sanchez, Hugo Almaguer Sanchez.
Okay, so on our second amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, it should say Hugo Almagor Sanchez. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir.
State, you want to make a motion to amend the second amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision to make sure the name is accurate on our records?
Yes, Judge. Also, Your Honor, if I may, Mr. Rivera mentioned that he has an agreement with the state regarding the recommendation in this case. I sent him a chat via Zoom. I don't see any notes from the prior prosecutor in this case, so I just want to make sure that that I'm on the same page as him. I just don't see anything regarding any agreement.
Okay, right now, we haven't gotten to my request from the state for your recommendation, but at
Yes.
this point, I'm just asking the state if they will make a motion to correct the order of the defendant's name on the second amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. It now reads Almagor Hugo Sanchez, but Mr. Rivera has corrected me. Thank you. And it should read Hugo Almaguer Sanchez. Is that correct, Mr. Rivera?
Yes, it is, Judge.
All right, so state,
Yes,
you
sir.
make the motion and we can get that corrected.
The state moves to amend the MTR judge to reflect Hugo Almaguer Sanchez.
And any other allied documents also need to be corrected administratively, Pat. Any objection from the defense?
No objection to the defense, Your
All
Honor.
right, that'll be granted. All right, now we're all on the same sheet of music.
Judge, if I may,
Yes, sir, ma'am. Go ahead.
all of our documents are created in the way that the court sends the information to us. So the probation department received documents stating that the defendant's name is Almaguer Hugo Sanchez. That's why the documents are created in that fashion.
Okay, so we're not pointing fingers at the probation department. We just need it to be correct. So that's all we've done. So we fixed it. So moving right along. So I can call Mr. Sanchez, Mr. Sanchez. Would that be accurate, Mr. Rivera?
Yes, sir.
All right, all good. So continue, Susan, please, with the status of probation of Mr. Sanchez.
Yes, Your Honor, starting from the beginning. During the course of his probation, he has reported fairly. He missed a total of 4 months of reporting. And we last saw him July 13th, 2021. He has completed all 48 hours of his community service, as well as his DWI education, victim impact panel, and CATSNP programs. He has had 12 negative drug tests. He is paid in full. And we are here today on violations on the Scram device, in which he has tested positive on 3 occasions for alcohol. His officer is recommending that his probation be extended 30 days and he be put on a GPS device. Mr. Sanchez has no criminal history. His original fine was $500. This is his 3rd violation report and his first motion to revoke. And this case did expire May 27th, 2021.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rivera, would you please give Mr. Sanchez's request to the court, please?
Yes, Judge. At the very beginning, there was questions about his testing positive. He had indicated to his probation officer and notes were taken that he was taking that Aloha heat lotion because he had hurt his back at work. That does contain some of the alcohol in it. And that's the only reason why he would test it. He has not been drinking since you placed him on community supervision. We had initially wanted a contested MTR on those issues because he has indicated to me that he has not been drinking at all. The other thing, Judge, on his failures to report, we are in agreement that at least on 1 out of those 4, he may have failed to appear, but during that period of time, they were reporting either by Zoom, or they were reporting by phone. During July and August, that was a transitional month where they were changing him from one probation officer to the other. So that's why we were willing to plead true to a number 5 on a 1 failure to report. Judge, he has not been drinking, and essentially the second amended violation came down, and I had reached out to the court to allow him to be out on bond because he had tested on the Scram on March 16th and March 17th, but he was not drinking on those days either, Judge. And he did, on his own accord, submit all of the ingredients on that Aloha heat lotion to his PO to show that that lotion did contain, and he was not drinking whatsoever on those 2 days, Judge. We're simply trying to save the court some time, Judge, and ask the court to follow the rec, Judge. Because he's a Spanish speaker, Judge, there's been a big language problem with him and the PO department. He has already spent a total of 11 days in jail. He's completed everything, Judge. He just wants to get this matter behind him. And we're hopeful that you would grant us the extension for 30 days. He's expired, Judge, back in May of this year.
All right, Mr. Rivera, I apologize. Susan, how many different positives did we have for alcohol for Mr. Sanchez? I know we had 3 on the Scram device, correct?
Yes.
sir.
And then how many on the Smart Start mobile device?
I don't have that information readily available. I'll have to look that up, Judge.
All right. So on the MTR, is the only allegation the 3 Scram positives?
That and the failure to report, and also the issue with the classes, but he has since completed all of the classes and the community service.
All right.
And on a side note for the alcohol issue, if he called his officer and told the officer, who he has always had Spanish speaking officers, that, you know, he was using this lotion, he should have stopped immediately using that lotion, which would have prevented 2 subsequent positives. And also, when they are strapped with the Scram device, they are told they cannot consume alcohol and that they need to read the labels of products that they ingest or use on their body to ensure that they do not have alcohol. Therefore, that would not be a defense to him coming up positive for alcohol on the Scram device.
Well, the only reason he would be on a Scram device is because he was either missing blows or he had positives on the Smart Start mobile device before I ordered him on the Scram device. So we don't have any record of that. Is that correct?
No, I'm getting that for you right now, Judge. It takes me just a minute to
Judge,
get that.
also, Judge, in response to what Ms. Gross just said, as far as the lotion is concerned, Judge, that was only pertinent to the second amended MTR. The other ones that he had, Mr. Sanchez works out in the field and they tend to drink those Monster drinks also. And he told his PO about those, and she said that sometimes that causes it as well. So he has since stopped using those as well.
Okay. Let me just clarify for the state and the defense where I'm going with this. I don't want to put Mr. Rivera in jail. His punishment is going to be, I'm going to revoke his deferred and find him guilty. Defense, I'm giving you 2 options. He can stay on probation if he wants for however long. I think he's done everything. Or I'll just sentence him to 30 days in jail, credit for time served, judgment satisfied, if you'd rather have it that way. That's where I'm going. State, do you have any objection to that? Y'all had some sort of an agreement at one point. What was your agreement? Let me ask you that.
If I may ask, Mr. Rivera?
The judge, what we had wanted for him is to do the extending of 30 days, that was a rec that the PO had given us, and to keep him on the GPS, because he's already expired and he's done everything.
Okay. Well, regardless what else happens, I'm going to take away his deferred. After that, if he wants to stay on probation, that's fine. If he wants me just to sentence him to time served, I'll do that. What would you rather me do?
Well, Judge, since you are inclined to take his deferred away, then there's no sense of him to continue since he won't have the deferred. There's no incentive for him at this point. Then I would then like for the court to give him credit for time served, judgments satisfied him.
Fair enough. State, do you have any objection to that?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, here's the plan.
Judge,
Yeah.
just to answer your prior question, the reason why the defendant was placed on a Scram device is because on June 7th of this year, he had high bracs on the Smart Start mobile device of 0.053, 0.48, and 0.45, and he had skipped 12 tests during the time period of May 20th to June 20th. That's why you placed him on Scram in lieu of a motion to revoke at that time.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Sanchez, the court accepts your plea of true with an explanation to condition 5. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I sentence you to 30 days in the Bexar County Jail. It says a $1,000 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Sanchez?
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Sanchez. Thank you, Mr. Rivera.
I appreciate it, Judge.
Y'all are dismissed. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, let's go through these Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. Please, we have a couple of dual cases. Otherwise, there are 1, 2, 3, 5 defendants. Okay, once again, we've got cause 633-834 and 633-835, State of Texas versus Isaac Aguilar, represented by Judge Joanne De Hoyos. We've got cause 652-101 and 652-102, State of Texas versus Cody Eastridge, represented by Miss Ashley Morgan. Or do we have Terry with us? Who do we have? Anybody?
Yes, Judge, I'm here for Ashley today, Terry Carter.
Is that Terry? I can't. Oh, I see you. Thank you. Okay, we have Ms. Carter representing Mr. Eastridge in cause 661-329, State of Texas versus John Guerrero Jr., represented by Ms. Rebecca Bratt in cause 58486, State of Texas versus Adam Seitzes, represented by Mr. Roberto Ambrosino.
I'm here,
And-
Judge.
Thank you. And we have a track 2 plea and probation agreement between State of Texas versus Clayton Howard Hosfield and represented by Mr. William Salazar, cause 650994.
Yes, good morning, Judge.
In all these cases, I'm now going to ask about whether or not you signed some documents for me. The first document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, and purportedly has both the defendant's and the defendant's attorney's signatures on them. In Mr. Aguilar's case, I have 2 actual documents of the same type, one in cause 633-834 and one in cause 633-835. Mr. Aguilar, are these your signatures on both these documents, sir?
Yes, sir.
Judge Doyos, as attorney for Mr. Aguilar, just also your signature on both these documents.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Eastridge, in cause 652101 and 652102, I have 2 defendants' consent to plea by video conference for you also. Is this your signature on each?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Carter, as attorney for Mr. Eastridge, is this also your signature on each of these documents?
Ms. Morgan's signature is on those documents, but
Oh,
I
great.
can confirm that she signed them and we do consent to proceeding by
No
video.
problem. And you're identifying those as Ms. Morgan's signature, are you not?
Correct.
Thank you. And Mr. Guerrero, is this your signature in clause 661329 on the consent to plea by video conference?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
And thank you. And Ms. Brandt, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Judge.
Thank you. In clause 658486, Mr. Seitzes, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Ambrosino, as attorney for Mr. Seitzes, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Howard Hosfield, in clause 650994, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Salazar, as attorney for Mr. Howard Hosfield, is this also your signature?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions, that purports to have each of your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. Mr. Aguilar, I have 2 documents for you, one in cause 633834 and one in cause 633835. Are these your signatures on each of these documents, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Eastridge, I have 2 documents for you, one in cause 652101 and one in cause 652102. Are these your 2 signatures, one on each of these documents?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Guerrero, in cause 661329, is this your signature?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. Mr. Seitzes, in cause 658486, is this your signature?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Howard Hosfield, in cause 650994, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. By signing these documents, for each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety. If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney. So in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Mr. Aguilar, in both cases?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Eastridge, in both cases?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Guerrero?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct, Mr. Seitzes?
Yes, sir.
And is that correct, Mr. Howard Hosfield?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. As attorney for Mr. Aguilar in both cases, and have you had enough time to go over these cases with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent, Judge Joanna?
I have, and he is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Carter on both cases for Mr. Eastridge.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Brett as attorney for Mr. Guerrero.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Ambrosino as attorney for Mr. Seitzes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And same question for Mr. Salazar as attorney for Mr. Howard Hosfield.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Aguilar, are you a United States citizen in both cases?
Yes, sir.
That boy. Same question for Mr. Eastridge in both cases.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Guerrero.
Yes, sir.
Same question for Mr. Seitzes.
Yes, sir.
Same question for Mr. Howard Hosfield.
Yes, sir.
Judge Joanne, as attorney for Mr. Aguilar in both cases, has the state fully complied with discovery for you?
They have, Your Honor.
Same question for Ms. Carter in both cases, as attorney for Mr. Eastridge.
Yes, Your Honor, they have.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Brett.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Ambrosino.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Salazar.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Aguilar, in cause 633-834 to the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Court accepts your plea of guilty to the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon. And I'm going to hold it in abeyance, place you on 1 year, Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, track 1, pretrial diversion, assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all those based on your military service. DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. And state, is there any restitution in this case? Let me look at your agreement here.
No, Your Honor.
I didn't see any, Your Honor.
All good. Firearm safety course. Successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Issue judge's bond. Defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. What kind of handgun is this?
Glock 17.
All right. State, you've got a motion to destroy or forfeit the weapon. In lieu of that, Judge Joanne, would you be willing to accept this weapon as additional attorney's fees under the provision that is not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friends?
Yes, Your Honor.
And would that be all right with you, Mr. Aguilar, instead of destroying it?
Yes, sir.
All right. So ordered. At this time, Mr. Aguilar, in cause 633-834, and I'm going to go over exactly the same document with you in 633-835. I'm now looking at a document entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney in the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office. That contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites for your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. In both cause 633-834 and 633-835, are these your signatures on these two contracts?
Yes, sir.
And Judge De Hoyos, as attorney for Mr. Aguilar in both cases, is your signature on both these contracts?
It is, Your Honor.
And let's see. Mr. Flores, I have Mr. Nicholas Maru, who is known as an assistant criminal district attorney signature on both these contracts. And I assume that you will verify that he is in fact an actual, no kidding, Bexar County assistant criminal district attorney.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I can vouch for him too, Your Honor.
All right. Now we've got Mr. Aguilar, we got him on contract.
And I do have an issue with these two. Mr. Aguilar, I believe Ron told me has pending warrant. There was some issue with pretrial diversion. He thought he had to ask VTC staff for permission. So he did ask me to ask you to lift the warrant.
There's a warrant out on Mr. Aguilar at this time?
There's two warrants. There was some issue on pretrial
Both on Mr. Aguilar and every other defendant we're taking up today. I'm going to issue an order that recalls any and all prior pretrial bond condition orders or bond increase. So that should take care of that. Will that work?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Aguilar, that was 633-834 and about 633-835 to the charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of 0.15 or greater. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Court accepts your plea of guilty. Hold it in abeyance. Places you on 1 year. Bear County Veterans Treatment Court. Track 1 pretrial diversion. Assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee. 48 hours of community service probating office based on your military service. DWI education course. DWI victim impact panel. 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day. Outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. No restitution is necessary. Successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court is required. Issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. And we've already gone over the contract on this one, which is exactly the same as the other one, with maybe minor variations on what your requirements are. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Aguilar in 633-833 or 633-834? I'm sorry, 633-834 or 35. Go ahead.
Judge Christian, this is Joshua Childers, VTC staff. Because of Mr. Aguilar's active duty status, I didn't know if Mr. Hoyos and the DA had discussed a no contest plea for his best outcomes for his active duty.
I think that's.
Is that going to affect him right now if the plea is in abatement?
They will
hold it. Okay. I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yes.
And your policy is always guilty in VTC. So if the state doesn't have any opposition, can we ask for no contest?
Absolutely. The court at this time is going to change the plea of the defendant on both cases. I think the second one was no contest. To no contest and hold that in abeyance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
On both
Thank you,
cases.
Josh.
So we're good on that. Thank you for bringing that up, Josh. Also, these cases, 633-834 and 633-835 will run concurrent with each other.
Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Aguilar, what are you doing in the military of the United States right now?
I'm a helicopter mechanic, sir, with the Blackhawks.
All right. We first got Hawks back in 82nd, back in 82, I think. Does that sound right?
Sounds about right, sir. Some of our birds are older than that.
You get to fly in them or just work on them?
I'm a crew chief as well, sir, with the medevac.
Have you been to the war?
I mean, I was around there, but I wasn't in it.
Okay. Well, thanks for your service, sir. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Aguilar?
No, thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, State.
Mr. Aguilar, thank you, Judge De Hoya.
Thank you.
And cause 652-101, State of Texas versus Cody Eastridge to the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Court accepts your plea of guilty. Hold it in abeyance. Places you on 1 year Bear County Veterans Treatment Court, track 1, pretrial diversion, probation. It says a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service. DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. And no restitution on this one either. Is that correct, Terry?
Correct.
That's correct.
No restitution. Good. Successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court, issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. At this time, Mr. Eastridge, both in clause 652-101 and in clause 652-102, I'm looking at a document entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention, was a contract by and between you and your attorney in the Bear County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Carter, you're going to verify this is Ms. Morgan's signature also on this document, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Flores, I have Alexis O'Connor's signature on this one, who is also an assistant criminal district attorney, is she not?
Yes, Your Honor, she is.
What kind of handgun is in this case?
It was Smith & Wesson 45.
Okay. In lieu of destroying this thing, Ms. Carter, would you be willing to accept it as additional attorney's fees with the understanding it's not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friends?
Yes, Your Honor.
Would that be all right with you, Mr. Eastridge, instead of destroying it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. So ordered. This case, 652101 is going to run concurrent with 652102 and vice versa. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Eastridge and 652101?
No, Judge.
No, Judge.
652102, Mr. Eastridge, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Court accepts your plea of guilty. Hold it in abeyance. Places you on 1 year. Bear County Veterans Treatment Court. Track 1, pretrial diversion, assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service. DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider, successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court, issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. And we just went over the contract on the first case and cause 652101, and it's exactly like the one in 652102. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
And let's see, I've got Mr. Eastridge signing in the defense attorney slot, but I assume that would have been signed by Ms. Morgan. Would that be accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So for purposes of the record, at the appropriate ability of both my staff and the clerks and Ms. Benavides, they'll either send you a corrected copy or you could just send over a copy where one of you has signed that particular portion, correct?
I don't see how, I'll be at the courthouse later, so I can go down there and fix that.
All right. Basically, my position is you can just use the whiteout on Cody's name and put in your name. Let me see if I missed it on the first one or how that works. First one is actually signed by Ashley. Second one is signed by Mr. Eastridge. So nice try, Mr. Eastridge. That was good. You're only 3 short years away from being a lawyer, sir. Hang in there. Okay, so we're going to get that squared away. And this case also, we're issuing a judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. We've gone over the contract. We're good. What did you do in the military, Mr. Eastridge?
I was a firefighter, sir.
And what service were you in?
Air Force.
Did you fight any fires?
1.
All right. Did you put it out?
Yeah.
Attaboy. All right. Thanks for your service, sir. Anything further from the state of the defense on 652101 or 652102?
No, Your Honor.
No,
Thank
Your
you,
Honor.
Mr. Carter. Thank you, Mr. Eastridge. We're good.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, clause 661329. State of Texas versus John Guerrero Jr. Mr. Guerrero, to the charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Court accepts your plea of guilty. Hold it in abeyance. Places you on 1 year. Bear County Veterans Treatment Court. Track 1, pretrial diversion. Assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court plea. 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel. 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a VTC designated provider. No restitution due on this one, it appears. Successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court, issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. At this time, I'm now looking at a document excuse me, entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney and the Bear County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Guerrero?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Brett, as attorney for Mr. Guerrero, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
And once again, Mr. Flores, I have a signature of Ms. Alexis O'Connor, and you're verifying to me that she is an assistant criminal district attorney. Would that be accurate?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Once again, issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. We've gone over the contract. All the signatures are good. Mr. Guerrero, what'd you do in the military, sir?
I was airborne infantry with the 82nd.
Where in the 82nd?
I was in the 1st Brigade Combat Team with Alpha Company in the 2nd Battalion.
Go to the sandbox a couple of times?
Yeah, I went twice over there. Was
Afghanistan, Iraq, or both?
Just Iraq. Yeah, I was all over the place in that country.
How many jumps you got?
I think I only got about 21.
I only had 109, of which 98 worked really well, and the rest were a little hairy.
Oh, God. I definitely don't miss them.
Thanks for your service, sir. Airborne. Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Brett.
you.
Y'all are dismissed.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, now we're on call 658-486, State of Texas versus Adam Seitzes. Mr. Seitzes, to the charge of ABI, assault bodily injury married. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty, sir.
Okay, your paperwork says no contest. It doesn't matter to me. Mr. Ambrosino, is Mr. Seitzes active duty military?
He is not. I believe he's retired.
Okay, State, do you have any objection to them entering a plea of no contest as opposed to guilty? Doesn't bother me in the slightest.
Well, Judge, I believe that if he's not active duty, the plea should be guilty.
All right, so Mr. Ambrosino, do you want to have your Mr. Seitzes enter a plea of guilty and I'll change the paperwork? Would that be what you want me to do?
Yes, Your Honor, that's fine. We just weren't sure. We
Okay.
weren't sure if that was possible.
Court accepts the
That's
plea of guilty to the offense of assault bodily injury married. Holds it in abeyance, places you on Bear County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion for 1 year. Assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education, DWI intervention, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider. And let me see if we got any restitution issues. No restitution issues appear. You know, let me back up. I'm running all this off as a DWI and it's not a DWI. I apologize.
No, it's an assault.
Let's try again. Court accepts your plea of guilty. Hold it in abeyance, places you on 1 year Bear County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial intervention. Assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service. The BIPP course and the is it supposed to be ATSC? That's a theft course. Is that what you're talking about? APSC, which is a stress management course. There's no theft in this case, is there?
APSC, which should be the anger management course.
Alpha Tango Sierra Echo is a theft course. Alpha Papa Sierra Echo is a stress management course, is what I assume you're talking about.
Yes, Your Honor, I see Alpha Papa Sierra X.
All right, defense, you agree it's a PSE, not a TSE.
Yes, Your Honor, I agree.
No contact harmful or offensive with Lisana Romero. And any required VTC recommendations for treatment and completion. That sound right, State?
Yes, Your Honor.
That sound right, defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Boy, Mr. Seitzes, you were this close to getting all kinds of fun DWI stuff to do, but we pulled it back. All right, what'd you do in the military, sir?
22 years, airborne intelligence surveillance reconnaissance operator.
And what units were you with?
I've been with a ton of different organizations, 5th Group, 10th Group, CJ Soda. I'm a Air Force guy by trade, but we, as intel operators, we've deployed with everybody.
Did you go to the sandbox, I'm guessing, several times, probably?
Yes, sir. Once the war started, and then twice after that.
So Afghanistan, Iraq, both?
Iraq twice, and then in Ali Al Salim, Kuwait, prior to the war starting, and then when the war started, then getting all the inbound Scud missiles once Saddam Hussein knew we were coming.
Well, thanks for your service, sir. We Army guys like you Air Force guys because every time we go to war, thanks for the ride.
Roger that. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ambrosino and Mr. Seitzes, you're dismissed. Thanks for your help.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Okay, call 650-994, State of Texas versus Clayton Howard Hosfield. And Mr. Hosfield to the charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Court accepts your plea of guilty. Hold it in abeyance. Places you on 1 year. Bear County Veterans Treatment. Wait a minute, this is a class track 2, isn't it?
Track 2.
Okay. And so it's going to be just regular probation for DWI greater than 1.5. Is that what it is?
I see, Judge, 12 months deferred.
All right, let me back up here.
12 months deferred adjudication. There is a $1,000 fine. 48 hours of community service. We will probate all 48.
Okay.
DWI education, Smart Start mobile device for half the term, Veterans Treatment Court completion, and pay restitution, if any, to Ariel Seals.
You're gonna have to spell the name for me.
Alpha Romeo India Echo Lima,
Okay,
and then Seals, Sierra Echo Alpha Lima Sierra.
got it. Ariel Seals. Okay, so state, in order to do that, which is a wonderful agreement, I think you're gonna have to first waive the greater than 0.15 enhancement to make it a DWI first to make the defendant eligible for deferred adjudication. Does that sound right?
I think he can still be placed on deferred, Judge.
Defense, what's your understanding of the law on DWI stuff?
Judge, I would defer to you as far as whether or not I would be happy for Mr. Clayton Howard Hosfield to take a deferred on a B, but I'll defer to you, Judge.
All right, with the approval of both the state and the defense, here's what we're gonna do. I think it has to be a DWI first. I don't think it'd have an enhancement on it and still get deferred. But if I'm wrong, and the agreement is for a deferred on greater than 1.5, then we'll set it up that way when I send in the documents after I do some research to find out what the law says. If not, for purposes of the record, with the state agrees, the state made a motion to waive the 0.15 enhancement, which is granted, and then it would still be a DWI first, and then he'd be eligible to defer. But if he's eligible to get deferred on a greater than 1.5, and that was the original agreement, it's fine with me. I just don't think that's the law, but I'll be happy to check and see. Does that make
If I
sense?
may, Judge. So the note from Ms. O'Connor says, track 2, guilty to DWI 0.15 or higher, and then it says 12 months deferred. So I'm not sure how that works.
Well, my suggestion to the state would be, if she said deferred, we take deferred, and my understanding is it has to be just a straight DWI.
Okay.
I mean, it kind of boils down to defense. Was your understanding this was going to be a deferred or a guilty?
Yes, Your Honor. The agreement was a deferred.
Okay. Anyway, back to my original concept. Is that okay with you, state? It's going to be a deferred. Now, whether that's a DWI first or greater than 1.5 is whatever the law tells us it is. I think it's got to be a DWI first, and you got to waive the enhancement. If I'm wrong, we'll go ahead and set it up as a deferred on a greater than 1.5. So does that make sense?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Okay with the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. That's fine with me.
All good. And let's see where we're at here. So 1 year Bear County Veterans Treatment Court deferred adjudication, gonna be track 2. It says $1,000 all-inclusive veterans treatment. Actually, it's not all-inclusive. $1,000 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day, outpatient drug treatment with either the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider, restitution, if any, to Ariel Seals, SEALS, successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. And at this time, Mr. Hosfield, let me see what I got here. I've got a document entitled Track 2 Post Adjudication, which is a contract by and between you and your attorney in the Bear County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Salazar, as attorney for Mr. Howard Hosfield, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Flores, I have Miss Alexis O'Connor's signature on this document also, and I think you've already informed me she is an assistant criminal district attorney. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so we're all good on that. Any questions? Because this one is a little confusing. Any questions on Mr. Howard Hosfield's probation? State?
No, Judge.
Defense?
No, Judge.
If something comes up, we'll have another Zoom hearing and clarify it, but I'll get back to you guys, both you guys today with whatever the law says, and we'll go from there. All right, y'all are both, wait, I didn't ask. Mr. Howard Hosfield, what'd you do in the military, sir?
A field radio operator with the Marine Corps.
In the Marine Corps? And did you go to the sandbox?
No, sir.
All right, well, thanks for your service, sir. Okay. This time I'm looking at several motion to revokes. I've got cause number 640084, State of Texas versus Sophia Angela Calderon, represented by Mr. Joe Stenberg. I've got cause number 563949, State of Texas versus Barbara Sue Taylor, represented by Mr. Barry Hitchings. And I've got cause 519836, a second amended motion to revoke community supervision on Juan Joel Martinez Jr., represented by Mr. Jose Rocha. Mr. Stenberg, are you ready to proceed?
Your Honor, Mr. Stenberg is not here. He was not the original attorney. It was Mr. Arnulfo Ortiz. Mr. Ortiz withdrew, and Mr. Stenberg was just recently, as of like yesterday, appointed to her. I did send him the information. I did send him the paperwork. However, I don't know that he will be able to come on. I have not had any indication that he is.
And Ms. Calderon is in jail, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. She is remanded.
All right, everybody give me about 2 minutes to review what her facts are, and let's see if we have a plan. Okay, Ms. Gross, would you agree with me that the only allegations pending on this motion to revoke community supervision are an allegation of consuming alcoholic beverages on or about June 14th, 2021? And actually the second one, that's the only allegation. They're just two different versions of it. That makes sense?
Yes, Your Honor. And I believe the reason why this was filed so quickly is that the defendant was here about a month ago. As a matter of fact, I think it was less than a month ago. We were here on June the 10th for a prior MTR, at which time the defendant stated she was not going to use drugs or alcohol again. And here we are again.
Okay. Here's what I'm trying to do, Ms. Calderon. Obviously, you're in jail and nobody wants you in jail. So we're trying to get you out of jail. Do we have another court-appointed attorney that could go into a breakout room and chat with her and see if she would feel comfortable going forward today? I don't want her to stay in jail any longer than possible. And I don't, and who knows when we reset this thing.
Your Honor, I've got Mr. Hitchens here. I know that Mr. DeWalt has other things. He's waiting because he's got some other issues. And Mr. Rocha is not available. He went out. He's supposed to be coming back in. Those are the only court appointeds that I've got.
All right, Mr. Hitchings, would you be willing to chat with Ms. Calderon when your hearing is over and see if y'all could go today on this?
I'd be willing to meet with her, Your Honor.
Is that okay with you, Ms. Calderon? All right, great.
Okay. I will send paperwork so that Mr. Hitchens can sign it, Your Honor, right now, and that way he'll have time.
That'd be great. All right, we're going to take up Mr. Hitchings' other case. This is cause 563949, State of Texas versus Barbara Sue Taylor. This is a first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Have I received a consent form on this case, Pat?
Yes, Your Honor, you need to print it. You need to sign it and print it.
Let me see if I can do this.
Barbara, you probably need to unmute yourself because you're going to be answering some questions in a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hitchings, if you can use the chat feature at the bottom and send me your email address, I'll send you a copy of Ms. Calderon's MTR and court summary.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, it says going to Pat. I guess you'll get it, Susan.
You'll have to change it. Just click on it and then find my name. And then it'll come to me.
Here you go. Okay. Oh, Susan, did you get it?
No, I did not.
Oh, shoot, let me go back. Yeah, let's see. Okay, what do I click to send it?
Enter.
Oh, okay. Well, now did you get it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, Susan. Let me do it.
All right.
Okay. Hold a minute. Just one. There you go. Got it?
Yes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Rocha?
I'm sorry, Judge Montemayor would not let me
It's
out.
okay. You're fine. He's just starting the MTRs, but your client needs to sign the paperwork. He's
I
in-
believe
in
so.
the he's still in the breakout room.
Okay, I'll go back to the banquet room.
Okay.
I think what happens is that they can't open them at the jail. But
Okay, well,
try one more time.
try, please. Thank you.
I don't have a link to the breakout room.
Okay, hold on. I guess because you went out. Let me put you back in.
I believe it's breakout 3.
There you go.
Okay, very good. All right, thank you. All right, thank you.
I signed Miss Taylor's documents. Are you sending those to me?
Your Honor, as soon as I get them, I have not, there we go, got it. I sent them, Judge.
Guillermo, you know which violation you want to proceed on Barbara Sue Taylor?
Let's see.
They're all 2018 violations.
Do you have a preference?
No, not really.
I guess we can go with VOP number 2.
That's fine.
All right.
Judge doesn't usually narrow it down to one specific.
Oh,
He'll do like a plea of true to all with an explanation or something like that, or you can say that, you know, you're definitely not gonna plead true to number XYZ, whatever. But
that's fine, Susan.
yeah,
All right. Good to know.
Susan or Pat, can someone send me a copy of Paulino Cisneros' MTR? I put
yeah.
out an email, but
Eric, send me your email in the chat.
yes, ma'am.
Pat, this is Wayne. Send me Juan Martinez paperwork that I just signed when you can.
Juan Martinez, okay. As soon as I got it, well, hold on. I haven't gotten yours yet. Hold on.
Eric, it's on the way.
Your Honor, I still have not received your signed copy yet.
Okay, we got Mr. Hitchings. Are we ready to go forward on Ms. Taylor at this time, Mr. Hitchings?
We are, Your Honor.
I've got my paperwork on that. So this is cause 563-949 Theta, Texas versus Barbara Taylor. This is a first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. Representing Ms. Taylor is Mr. Barry Hitchings, and for all these cases, representing the state is Assistant Criminal District Attorney Guillermo Flores and Ms. Susan Gross from the Bear County CSCD, who I remind is still under oath. Ms. Taylor, on this case, the first document I need you to identify your signature for me on is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Hitchings, as attorney for Ms. Taylor, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Taylor, the second document I need you to identify your signature on is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. Is this your signature on this document, Ms. Taylor?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Hitchings, once again, as attorney for Ms. Taylor, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
My understanding is this is an uncontested motion to adjudicate. Would that be accurate, Mr. Hitchings?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Taylor, in the first amended motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision, how do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty.
Well, it's either true or not true, Barbara Sue. So
Oh, it's
true.
true.
Fair enough. Court accepts the plea of true with an explanation. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties the status of Ms. Taylor's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Taylor has performed very poorly on probation in that she only reported twice. We've not seen her since April the 18th of 2018. She made no effort to make any payments and has a balance of $867. We have no record of any of her 24 hours of community service having been completed. She has one failure to submit to drug testing, and she also failed to enroll in or provide proof of completion of the theft class. The probation officer is recommending that her probation be revoked.
Mr. Hitchings?
Just a little background on Barbara Sue Taylor. At the time that she entered the plea and received deferred adjudication probation, she was involved in an abusive relationship with her then husband. It caused her to move back to her home in Mount Pleasant, Texas, in Titus County. She was in the battered women's shelter for 8 months. She was able to receive a protective order in Titus County against her now ex-husband. When she started out on deferred adjudication in Bear County, she was a single mom staying at home with her 2-year-old son. And she had difficulty paying for drug testing classes or whatever. She didn't have any kind of source of income at all. She subsequently moved to Titus County in Mount Pleasant, where she stayed with her mother. She began to see a doctor and put under a doctor's care. She was manic bipolar. She also had PTSD. She was put on appropriate medications by a Dr. Dean Lattimore. And she was staying at her mother's house with her son, who was growing, and now he's 6 years old. She has a job in Mount Pleasant with Pilgrims, which is the chicken producer on the chicken that you buy in supermarkets. She did not have a job when she was in Bear County. She did pick up in January of 2021, a new case out of the Titus County District Court, possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 under a gram. She received 5 years deferred adjudication on that case, and she has started reporting to the Titus County District Court probation officer. That is in cause number in Titus County District Court 20731. She has been in the Bear County Jail, from what I heard from the clerk, for 15 days. She has a combined 67 days in Bear County and also in the Titus County Jail on the Bear County pending cases. We'd recommend to the court that she be given judgment satisfied if because of the time that she's already done, and then allowed to go back to Titus County to continue reporting to the probation officer there. An alternative would be, if judgment is not satisfied, that she be continued on probation and that probation transferred to Titus County. I think the simpler way to resolve this would just be judgment satisfied, let her go on to Titus County to report to the probation officer there. I think she's turning her life around. She's out of the abusive relationship. She hasn't had the adverse and abusive contact with her ex-husband that she experienced in Bear County. And we would request the court to give her judgment satisfied for the time that she's already served in Bear County and in Titus County on the Bear County hold.
Okay, Mr. Hitchings, let me clarify a couple of things for me. What date, plus or minus, did she go on probation with Titus County for the controlled substance case? Is she still on probation for?
I can tell you the offense occurred on January 12th, 2021. I don't know the date. Obviously, it would have been, probably weeks or a month after that, that she went on deferred adjudication in Titus County.
So basically, when she got arrested there, that's when our warrant from Bear County probably showed up, and that's why she's here today. Does that sound right?
Well, yes, she subsequently ended up making a Bear County bond from a Titus County bail bondsman on the Bear County charge, but then there was a subsequent bond increase, and she was arrested on the bond increase and held in Titus County, and Bear County sent somebody to pick her up.
All right.
I believe that's as a result of a failure to appear, because we've been here on this case before.
Okay. Talk to me about how the 67 days in confinement was determined. I show 18 days on the Bear County side. Pat, does that sound right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so she was held in Titus County for 67 days minus 18 days waiting to come see us. Is that correct?
I would have to just let Ms. Taylor address that. She, when she talked to me, knew precisely the total time that she's been held.
Hey, Ms. Taylor, can you clarify that for me?
Yes, sir. I was in Titus County for 52 days.
Based on this case right here?
Yes, this case pending. Yes, sir.
Okay, I got it. Mr. Hitchings, what are you requesting?
I'm requesting that, given the time that she's already spent in the Bear County Jail on this case, that she be given judgment satisfied. Whether the court would extend her on probation or not, or give her judgment satisfied, she's still going to be under the thumb of a probation officer. And whether it's this case transferred to Titus County on the Bear County misdemeanor probation, she's certainly got a whole lot more time to serve on the district court probation on her drug case in Titus County. So she's going to be under the supervision of a probation officer.
Gotcha. State recommendation?
Your Honor, the state recommends revocation in this case. I think that the defendant spent considerable amount of days in jail, so I agree with the Jason.
All right. Ms. Taylor, in cause 563-949, the court accepts your plea of true. I grant the state's motion to revoke your deferred adjudication probation. I adjudicate you guilty of the offense of theft, $100 to $750. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail. It says a $2,000 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied by including both the days that she spent in Bexar County Jail and also the days she spent in Titus County Jail. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Taylor?
No, Your Honor.
Nothing for the defense, Your Honor.
Good luck, Ms. Taylor. Thank you, Mr. Hitchings. And now, Pat,
Thank you.
if it's okay with Mr. Hitchings, if you'd send him out in a chat room to chat with Ms. Calderon and see if we could resolve that today. And if not, obviously, he's entitled to 10 days to prepare if that's beyond.
Right, and I have sent the paperwork to Mr. Hitchens, so I will put you in a breakout room. Let's go to breakout room 2.
Okay, thank you.
And Mr. Hitchens, I sent you Martinez's.
Let's see if I can get that.
And you already have Paulino Cisneros.
Yeah, I've got Ms. Cisneros.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready to go forward on Mrs. Cisneros, Mr. DeWalt?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is called 639-347, Fitted Texas versus Paulina Cisneros. This is a first amended motion to revoke community supervision. And representing Mrs. Cisneros is Mr. Eric DeWalt, representing the state, as previously mentioned, Mr. Guillermo Flores, and representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who has been previously sworn. The first document I need Mr. Cisneros and Mr. DeWalt to identify their signatures on is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Ms. Cisneros, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you.
It's Mr. Cisneros.
Oh, I apologize, Mr. Cisneros. And Mr. DeWalt, is also your signature on this document?
That woman has a huge beard. It is, Your Honor. I signed it.
The next document I see is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has the right to appeal the court's action revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Cisneros?
Yes.
And is this also your signature on this document, Mr. DeWalt?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. DeWalt, my understanding is this is an uncontested motion to revoke probation. Is that accurate?
That is accurate, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Cisneros in cause number 639347 on the motion to revoke, or rather the first amended motion to revoke community supervision. How do you plead, sir?
True.
Thank you.
An explanation.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Cisneros' probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Cisneros has done well with reporting on probation. We last saw him on July 14th, 2021. He has not made any efforts to make any payments and has a balance of $1,150 and is currently delinquent $458. We have no proof of completion of any of his 36 hours of community service. He is currently testing on Smart Start Mobile at 4 times a day. And as stated in the motion to revoke, he has had 3 high BRACs ranging from 0.023 to 0.034. Since the motion has been filed, he's had an additional high BRAC on July 10th of 0.035 with no retest. He's had 1 positive drug test for marijuana. He has failed to submit to drug testing on 1 occasion, and he has had 2 negative drug tests. We have no proof of enrollment or completion of DWI education, victim impact panel, CAT-SNP, or the drug offender education program. This is his first violation report, first motion to revoke. His original fine was $400, and his criminal history includes arrests for possession of marijuana 0 to 2 ounces, driving while license suspended, possession of marijuana 2 to 4 ounces, prostitution, driving while intoxicated, felony assault, bodily injury, family, possession of marijuana 0 to 2, and then the instant offense. His officer is recommending that his probation have his Smart Start mobile device increased to 6 times per day, that he do weekly drug testing, and that he be registered for all classes within 10 days.
Okay, so no problem with reporting. We've had a problem with him actually finishing the program. And we've got 3 positives for alcohol on the machine. Does that sound right?
He actually has 4, however, 1 is not alleged because it did occur after the motion was filed.
Then we won't consider that one. All right. Mr. DeWalt, what are you requesting?
Yes, Your Honor. We're asking first that you follow the probation's recommendation. We understand you're could bump it up to 6 times a day with regular UAs. I believe the positive on the marijuana was a while back. I didn't get a date on that. I do know that Mr. Cisneros has tendered to me over 19 hours of community service hours, and I will get it to probation. He is scheduled for oral surgery. He has some issues with his dental and has given me a schedule for when he's going to have oral surgery on that. I know he talked to his probation officer about self-medicating and using mouthwash. I told Mr. Cisneros that this arrest warrant and us turning him in got his attention, and he's on 0 tolerance. He understands everything that he needs to do in front of him. They read his alleged priors. I've represented Mr. Cisneros for quite some time, and I think those might have been allegations, but not convictions. I believe in this man. I believe this man can be successful on your probation, and I'm asking he be given the chance with 0 tolerance.
Okay, Mr. Cisneros, the one good news thing is that you've been reporting, so that's good. But you really haven't pounced on any of your programs. What's going on with that? Are you working? Are you going to school? You got kids? What's your home situation?
The probation officer said that I could knock out the community service first and then start my classes, so I don't have to do too much at one time.
Okay, so, let's say for the sake of conversation that you've got a mean judge and he wants you to do more than one thing at a time.
Yes, sir.
Are you doing that? Do you want to finish probation correctly?
Yes.
All right. Are you going to stop drinking? That's kind of my big question.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good answer, by the way, Mr. DeWalt. State recommendation.
Your Honor, I agree with probation's recommendation. I have some concerns regarding his lack he hasn't registered for those courses. So I will ask that we emphasize that he has to register and complete those courses, Judge.
And do we have a date on this oral surgery we're worried about, Mr. DeWalt?
The 19th.
You have a
next
date on
month.
your surgery?
And if you don't know,
Paulina,
that-
can you hear me? I know my legal assistant just sent it to me. I have a document right here. It's at the Blue Bonnet Oral Surgery and Transplant on 7300 Blanco Road. I don't know if he has a date scheduled. He's holding it up. Paulina, do you have a date for your surgery?
The 19th of next month.
19th of next month.
Judge, if I may,
sure.
Mr. DeWalt and Mr. Cisneros, when you go in for that surgery, you're going to need to advise your dentist, your surgeon, that you can't have any products that have alcohol in them. And because he'll probably prescribe you an oral rinse or something, and you need to remind him that it cannot have alcohol in it.
Yes, ma'am.
If I want to keep him around, do we need to extend him or is he okay?
Judge, he's on till March 18th of 2022.
Okay, plenty of time.
I gotta go blow on my machine.
All right, Mr. Cisneros, 639-347, the court accepts your plea of true with an explanation. I deny the state's motion to revoke your probation or to continue on probation with all prior requirements. How many days in jail does he have? I show 2, but I bet it's more than that.
I don't think it's more than that, Judge.
You think it's 2?
Yes, sir.
I have to go blow in my machine.
It's okay. We know where you're at. You can wait.
I'm going to give Mr. Cisneros a sanction of 30 days in the Bexar County Jail to get his attention because I don't think he's paying attention. However, because I know Mr. DeWalt very well, I know he's going to have that little conversation he always had with my defendants, and there will probably be no more problems. I'm holding the 30 days of the sanction in abeyance. If there are any more problems, we'll talk again about his sanction. But in the meantime, I'm altering and amending conditions, increasing his Smart Start mobile blows to 6 times a day within 24 hours of right now. You're not going to get any sleep. You're going to have to wake up in the middle of the night and blow. Here's my deal for you. Mr. Cisneros, if you show me a clean 30-day period of time, that could be 30 days from today.
Yes, sir.
Without missing any tests at 6 blows a day and no high brax for alcohol, I'll crank you back down to 4. No hard feeling. I won't know you've done that. If you do that, got to let your lawyer know. He'll let me know, and I'll immediately reduce you to 4 blows a day. I'm going to put him on weekly UAs, Eric. And if he shows me 4 clean weekly UAs, I'll take him off of that and put him back on Monday. And once
Yes,
again,
sir.
I won't know he's done that if he does that. So you have to bring that to my attention. Now, here's the big one. I want substantial compliance in every other area within 10 days, meaning I want him registered for every program he's supposed to be taking. He may not start within 10 days, but he needs to be registered for it. He needs to start catching up on his money or doing community service hours. And you're going to have to do more than one thing at a time, Mr. DeWalt. Excuse me, Mr. Cisneros. So you're going to have to start pouncing on this. And the quicker the better. So that's basically what I've got. Anything further from the state of the defense of Mr. Cisneros?
I have some stuff, Judge.
Sure.
Mr. Cisneros, your officer is going to be sending you some documents to sign, which will be your amended conditions. It'll either be later today or tomorrow. If you don't hear from your officer by like noon tomorrow, call her tomorrow afternoon. And you need to sign those conditions. She will also be sending you your new testing times for Smart Start Mobile. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Hitchens, Judge.
Mr. Hitchens, did you get a chance to talk to Ms. Calderon?
I did, Your Honor, and we've completed the paperwork. Now, I've not.
I'm sending you the paperwork right now, Your Honor.
Okay.
I guess my ultimate question is, did y'all want to go forward today?
Well, I'd kind of like to see the MTR if we go forward today. I've not seen that yet. I think she tells me she's doing fine on the Scram device. And so we've got something that's working if what she's telling me is true.
Mr. Hitchings, I sent you those documents 30 minutes ago.
Oh, well, maybe I need to go further back on.
Take all the time you need, but if the only allegation that I'm aware of is that she blew a .041 on June 14th, 2021. And apparently there have been no further violations. Or Susan would be honest like a chicken on June bug yelling about it. So that's the only issue we have. And she's been on Scram for what, 30 days probably or more?
Judge, she installed the Scram on June 17th and she failed to do a download that was due on July the 2nd.
Okay.
Okay, but otherwise on Scram, she appears to be doing fairly well.
Your Honor, the reason I wasn't able to download is because I was arrested July 2nd and they cut off my Scram device.
Yeah, that would slow down your downloading ability.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Okay.
So
Anyway.
because we didn't get that download, we don't know if there were any violations for the last month
I
because
understand.
the device was cut off.
Anyway, Barry, if she'd be willing to stay on the Scram, that would probably make both the state and me very happy, and we would just move
Okay,
forward.
then
And I'm thinking like 90 days on Scram, and then if she does well on 90 days on Scram, we'll take it off and put her back on the Smart Start.
okay. I've already talked to her. She's agreeable to that, Your Honor.
All right, well, let's get your paperwork up, and I'm going to do Mr. Martinez, and then we're going to be ready for you guys when you are.
Well, the paperwork you just need to sign, Your Honor. So whenever you're ready.
All right, let me do that real quick.
And Mr. Hitchings, I don't know if you've gotten to the documents yet, but we
No.
are recommending that she go to SATF.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes a big difference. Okay. Well, let me. Oh, shoot. I don't want to leave the meeting.
If you have any questions, Mr. Hitchings, I can meet you in a breakout room.
Okay, I've got the court summary. I need to get the other document.
I sent both of them together.
Printing them out.
Okay. Let's talk about State of Texas versus Juan Martinez. And that would be Mr. Rocha. Are you ready to proceed on Mr. Martinez's case?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
This is cause 519836, State of Texas versus Juan Martinez. This is a second amended motion to revoke community supervision. And once again, representing the defendant is Mr. Jose Rocha. Representing the state is Mr. Guillermo Flores. Representing the Bexar County CSDD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is still under oath. The first document I need Mr. Martinez and Mr. Rocha to identify their signatures on is entitled "The Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference." Mr. Martinez, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, it is, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Rocha, as attorney for Mr. Martinez, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Thank you. This document I have, Mr. Martinez, is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision. And the defendant has a right to appeal the court's action revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Is this your signature on this document, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Rocha, as attorney for Mr. Martinez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Okay, my understanding is this is an uncontested motion to revoke community supervision. Was that accurate?
That is accurate, Your Honor. We have reached an agreement with the District Attorney's Office, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Martinez, in clause 519836 on the motion, on the second amended motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, sir?
True.
Thank you. Ms. Gross, could you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Martinez probation, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Martinez has performed very poorly on probation in that he only ever reported on 2 occasions. He paid $20 towards his fees. He has a balance of $1,247. We have no proof of completion of any of his 48 hours of community service and no proof of enrollment or completion of the drug offender education program or the Palmer drug abuse program. He has 3 positives for marijuana and he has 1 negative drug test. His case is his first violation report, first motion to revoke. The case did expire on October 17th of 2017. He has no criminal history. His original fine was $500. This case has been adjudicated from a deferred adjudication. And his officer is recommending that he pay in full and then his case be terminated satisfactorily.
And Mr. Martinez, I apologize. Can you turn your microphone off unless I'm specifically talking to you? Or
Yes,
get
sir.
background noise? Okay. Thank you, sir. I apologize. I missed how much money he still owes the probation department.
$1,247 and his original fine was $500.
And I'm sorry, what was the recommendation of the probation department?
His officer is recommending that he pay in full and then his probation be terminated satisfactory.
I think you need to take your officers down and start giving them your analysis tests and to see what they're on. That's crazy. Okay, defense, what are you looking for? I agree with you that if I was you, I'd agree with the probation recommendation too, but that's not going to happen.
Your Honor, at this point, we were under a different understanding of what was the recommendation, as we believed that the recommendation was that it was going to be terminated unsatisfactory.
Even if that was a recommendation, that's not going to happen either. So keep going. You're doing good.
Yes, thank you very much, Your Honor. I appreciate it. Yes, I spoken to Mr. Flores, and while we were speaking to Mr. Flores, my client would be willing to make a plea of true on the condition that he did not check in with a probation officer, and that would be a judgment satisfied.
Okay. Well, here's how it works, best of my knowledge. At this time, he's entered a plea of true with an explanation, and that leaves it entirely up to me on punishment. He could get 6 months in the Bexar County Jail from me, regardless of what agreement you have with the state or what you think the agreement should be, or there is no agreement. So I'm not bound by any of that, is what it boils down to. What I'm looking at doing, and I'd have to chat with you guys about it. What is Mr. Martinez working? What is he doing in the real world? You come back on and talk to us now.
Okay.
Yes,
yes, sir. I am this month or next month, I'm actually about to complete a year at my job. I work at Grimaldi's Pizzeria. I'm a dishwasher.
Okay.
I can start paying any fees that need to be paid. I'm willing to start paying as soon as possible. I did miss these past 2 weeks, so I would need to work another 2 weeks to start paying any type of payments. Anything that needs to be paid, I can start paying it. I am working. when I was in trouble back then, I couldn't pay anything at all. That's why I couldn't pay probation. I had no job. But now I'm getting back on my feet. Everything's going so great for me. Like I'm about to complete a year of my job. I'm actually like, they're in talks about a raise as well.
Okay, here's what I got in mind. Let me bounce this off the state and the defense and see if anybody thinks it's a good idea. Mr. Martinez apparently has been in jail, what, 15 days? That sound right? All right.
Yes, sir.
He's been missing in action since 2017. He owes us $1,247. Mr. Rocha and Mr. Flores, here's what I am thinking of doing, and I want to see if y'all agree or not. I'm going to revoke him. I'm going to give him a maximum sentence of 6 months in the Bexar County Jail. And whatever his original fine was, I think $500. He gets credit for his 15 days he has in jail. However, I'm going to let him out of jail today or tomorrow, whenever we can get him out. And I'm going to give him 10 days to report back to jail to actually start this sentence. If he pays the $1,247 in that 10 days, I'm going to waive his jail sentence. Does that sound equitable to the defense, Mr. Rocha?
I see my client nodding. I believe so. Yes, Your Honor.
If y'all would like to go to a breakout room and chat about it, you're welcome to do that. But I think you spent
that plan sounds great with me. I will be able to find
the state. That's something you can live with. I know that you always want jail time on everybody.
Sounds good, Judge.
All right. Mr. Martinez, in cause 519836 on the second amended motion to revoke community supervision. The court accepts your plea of true. I grant the state's motion to revoke your community supervision. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, a $500 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. However, I'm going to give you a report date of, let's see what today is.
The 26th.
I'm going to say Monday morning, July 26th at 9 a.m. And if you have paid the $1,247, and I think they're going to give you an administrative fee of an extra $2 on top of that. By then, I will not know you've done that. You got to let your lawyer know. He'll let me know. But if you do that, you don't need to report back to jail. I'm just going to waive your jail sentence. Is that okay with the defense?
Yes, Your Honor. He's looking forward to being released today.
And Pat, you're going to have to walk me through the admin, how we get him out of jail right now, because he doesn't need to report back until then.
I'm going to have to check with the clerks, Your Honor, and I'll do it as soon as we're off.
Well, I'm going to enter an order to get him out. So anyway, if he's not out by tonight at 6 o'clock or something, Ms. Rocha, call me and I'll call the jail and see what's going on.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, you look pretty good in jail. You sure you don't want to stay there, sir? All right. I like the way you think. All right. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Martinez?
Nothing from the state, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Rocha.
Nothing further.
Thank you,
Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Martinez, you can make your payment at the probation department at 207 North Canal. That's the 4-story building right across the street from where you're currently housed. Okay, it'll be on the first floor on the left entrance of the building. You can pay with cash, cashier's check, or money order. Sometimes they will allow you to use a debit or credit card. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And there will be a
I'm anticipating we may have problems getting him out of jail because I've messed with the jail before. Is there a chance that Mr. Martinez can make arrangements to get that money paid today or tomorrow?
I actually the most I could probably pay would be maybe.
No sweat. We'll do the 10 days, sir. We'll make it happen. Thanks
Yes,
for
sir.
your help.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
You bet. Okay, that takes care of that one. The only one we got left is Ms. Calderon. This is cause 640084, State of Texas versus Sophia Angela Calderon. This is a motion to revoke community supervision. Mr. Hitchings, did you want to go forward today, or do you need more time, or what would you like to do?
I just need to check with the recommendation of SADF kind of threw me. I just need to check with my client, see if she still wants to go through it today.
So let me tell you in advance, both sides, state and defense, what my intention is. I do not want to send her to SADF at this time. If she's willing to volunteer to stay on the scram bracelet for 90 days, and that can start from whenever she first put it on. She put it on in June or something, then that time counts. And she's doesn't have any violations in those 90 days, we'll take her off scram, put her back on Smart Start Mobile. But I'm gonna want a promise from Ms. Calderon, she's not gonna drink anymore. That's the only problem.
Yes, sir. I'm doing better. I'm doing way better.
That's what I propose. State, can you live with that? We're gonna continue on probation from my theory. Mr. Flores, is that okay with you? Again, and Mr. Flores can't hear me for some reason.
Judge, sorry. Yes, Judge, sounds
Okay,
good.
good. Barry, you want to go back in a breakout room and chat with Ms. Calderon? I'll make crystal clear that everybody is in agreement with this.
Okay, with you being crystal clear, we're ready to proceed now.
Okay, the paperwork is, you just need to do the paperwork, Your Honor. I sent it to you. You got it?
You know, I thought I did, but I don't know where it is. Hang on.
I have a question. Would I be able to get out of jail today?
Yes.
It depends on the jail.
Well, I mean,
Or
the
tomorrow.
order will go in to get you out of jail today. It may take
Okay.
us 24 hours to follow the order. I apologize it's that way, but it's that
No,
way.
it's fine. My daughter started driving school today, so I'm super excited to see her.
Okay, wonderful. Hang on, let me get my paperwork because apparently I do not have to stand by.
Guillermo, I sent you an email. Can you look at it regarding a Casanova?
Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate it because
Can you send me the case number via chat?
well, he's got 3, and that's what I'm asking if any of them are TIC, but I will.
Yeah, I just need one case number or the SID number. And I'll
Sure,
be
got
able
it. Just, okay. Okay. Oh, sorry, I sent it to Mr. Hitchens instead of him.
Oh.
Hold on. He's got 3, Guillermo.
Got it. Thank you. I just need one.
Sure.
Okay, everybody hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Back on the record, cause 6400884, State of Texas versus Sofia Calderon. And this is once again a motion to revoke community supervision. Representing Ms. Calderon, Mr. Barry Hitchings, representing the state is Mr. Guillermo Flores, representing the Bexar County CSCD is Ms. Susan Gross, who I remind is still under oath. Ms. Calderon and Mr. Hitchings, the first document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference, which purports to have both your signatures on it. Ms. Calderon, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Hitchings, as attorney for Ms. Calderon, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. The second document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has the right to appeal the court's action revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Is this your signature on this document, Ms. Calderon?
Yes, sir, it is.
And Mr. Hitchings, as attorney for Ms. Calderon, is this also your signature?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, this is a motion to revoke community supervision. And my understanding it is uncontested. Is that correct, Mr. Hitchings?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Ms. Calderon, on the motion to revoke community supervision, how do you plead, ma'am?
True.
Thank you. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Ms. Calderon's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Since being placed on probation, she's done well with reporting. She only missed 1 month. We last saw her on June 10th of 2021. She has paid $630 towards her fees and has a balance of $618. She is current at this time. She has completed 20 of her 40 hours of community service, as well as DWI education and victim impact panel. She is currently enrolled in and attending both CATSNP and the intensive outpatient program at CATS. She's had 3 negative drug tests. In total, she's had 8 positives for alcohol on alcohol monitoring devices, including what's alleged on this motion. She was on Scram beginning June 17th of 2021, and it was removed when she was arrested on July 7th, or I apologize,
Okay.
July 2nd. And we do not have that data as it was cut off before she downloaded the information. This is her second violation report, second motion to revoke. We were just in court on June 18th of 2021. She has a prior arrest for DWI. Her original fine was $500. And her officer is recommending that she go to the SATA facility and that be followed up by the aftercare program.
Mr. Hitchings, what are your requests?
We'd request, since she on balance seems to be doing fairly well, that you continue her on probation, particularly have the Scram device reinstalled on her. I think she'll successfully complete the remainder of her probation. The court has 7 more months left on the probation term, and I think she'll be able to successfully complete it.
State recommendation?
Your Honor, I leave that up to the court's discretion.
Fair enough. Ms. Calderon and cause 640084. On the motion to revoke community supervision, the court accepts her plea of true. I deny the state's motion to revoke her probation. Or you continued on probation with all prior requirements with a sanction of 30 days in the Bear County Jail, credit for time served, judgment satisfied, altering and amending condition, adding and or continuing the Scram bracelet for a period of 90 days. If you've already gotten 30 days or something on that, counts toward your 90.
Yes,
And
sir.
requiring substantial compliance in all other areas within 30 days. And I think you're pretty much doing that already. So
Yes, sir.
anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Calderon?
Judge,
No, Your Honor.
we just asked that she be strapped within 5 days.
You need to get your Scram bracelet on within 5 days of getting out of jail.
Yes, sir. Are they open on the weekends?
You know, I don't know.
I don't believe so, but
If you
By
run into
Monday.
a time problem, call Mr. Hitchings, he'll call me and we'll get it worked out.
Okay.
Basically, as
Yes,
soon
sir.
as possible is all we're asking.
Okay.
Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Calderon?
Nothing.
No, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Calderon. Thank you, Mr. Hitchings.
Thank you so much, Judge. Thank you very much.
Ms. Calderon,
Yes, ma'am.
in your email box, you will have a set of alternate amended conditions.
Okay.
It'll probably come sometime tomorrow. Make sure that you sign those, send those back to your officer, and that you contact your officer as soon as you get out. so that
Okay.
you can find out your reporting instructions and all of that, okay?
Will I have, do you know if I'll have issues because when they cut the device off of me, like, does it get sent back to the place that I got the device from? Like, will it?
You aren't gonna get the same one.
Okay, it'll be a different one, but like, because I know that when they went over it, like it's a property type thing. So will they have already received my old one, or will they give me issues about where my other one was at?
I'm not them. I can't answer those questions.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
If you have problems in any capacity, call Mr. Hitchings, he'll call me and we'll fix it. How's that?
Okay, thank you, Your
All right.
Honor.
You bet.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
May we be excused.
You bet. Thank you.